This is Menkari Australia. Breaking news.
15 people are dead. That's the final count from Sunday's terror attack at Bondi Beach. And today, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese confirmed what investigators suspected. This was ISIS-inspired. Intelligence agencies have identified a regular online ISIS video feed that reinforces the connection. The final victim has been named as Tania Tretiak, who was attending Chanukah celebrations when she was fatally shot. And in response, the government just announced the largest gun buyback scheme since 1996. This is what we know right now.
Today I confirm that the federal and New South Wales governments have declared Sunday, 21st of December, a day of reflection to honour the victims of the horrific terrorist attack at Bondi Beach and to stand in solidarity with the Jewish community. Further, my government and the New South Wales government and other premiers as well will work closely with the Jewish community on arrangements for a national day of mourning to be held in the new year. This will allow families the time and space to lay their loved ones to rest and to support those still recovering. On Sunday, flags on all New South Wales and Australian government buildings will be flown at half-mast as a mark of respect for the lives lost and the grief shared across our nation. We invite people across Australia to light a candle at 6:47 p.m, exactly 1 week since the attack unfolded, as a quiet act of remembrance with family, friends or loved ones. We're asking all Australians to observe a minute of silence and talking with media organisations about that as well. This day is about standing with the Jewish community, wrapping our arms around them, and all Australians sharing their grief. It is a moment to pause, reflect and affirm that hatred and violence will never define who we are as Australians. The terrorist atrocity committed against Australia's Jewish community last weekend was motivated by the evil of anti-Semitism. And yesterday I stood in this courtyard and announced further measures to eradicate anti-Semitism from our society. But in responding to the mass murder that we witnessed on Sunday, we must consider both motivation and method. The National Security Committee has met now 6 times since Sunday evening. We continue to receive advice on intelligence issues around that important body. And today we've been informed that by the Office of National Intelligence has identified a regular online video feed from ISIS that reinforces that this was an ISIS-inspired attack. Further work is being done by the security agencies around motivation, and we'll continue to meet and provide them with whatever support they need at this difficult time. Today, I'm also announcing that the government will establish a national gun buyback scheme to purchase surplus, newly banned and illegal firearms, the largest buyback since the Howard government initiated one in 1996. Australia's gun laws were last substantially reformed in the wake of the Port Arthur tragedy. The terrible events at Bondi show we need to get more guns off our streets. We know that one of these terrorists held a firearm licence and had 6 guns, in spite of living in the middle of Sydney suburbs there at Randwick. There's no reason why someone in that situation needed that many guns. There are now more than 4 million firearms in Australia, more than at the time of the Port Arthur massacre, nearly 30 years ago. The government will introduce legislation to support the funding of this buyback scheme and meet the costs on a 50-50 basis with states and territories. We expect hundreds of thousands of firearms will be collected and destroyed through this scheme. Consistent with the approach that was taken in 1996, the government is proposing that states and territories will be responsible for the collection, processing and payment to individuals for surrendered firearms. The Australian Federal Police will then be responsible for the destruction of these firearms.
According to the Prime Minister, the Office of National Intelligence has identified a regular online video feed from ISIS that confirms this attack was ISIS-inspired. Albanese spoke to the press this morning after the 6th National Security Committee meeting since Sunday evening. The attack targeted Jewish Australians at Chanukah celebrations. 15 people were killed. More than 40 others were injured. One of the attackers held a legal firearm license and owned 6 guns, despite living in suburban Bondi Beach in Western Sydney. 5 men are currently being questioned by NSW police after they were intercepted Thursday. According to police, tactical operations responded to information that a violent act was possibly being planned. These men had reportedly traveled from Melbourne and were heading toward Bondi. No charges have been laid yet, and police say they're assisting with the investigation. To zoom out, Australia hasn't seen a terror attack of this scale in years. The fact that it happened at Bondi Beach during a religious celebration makes it a targeted hate crime against the Jewish community, and it's raising urgent questions about how someone with extremist intentions could legally own 6 firearms. Here's the thing. There are now more than 4 million firearms in Australia. That's more than at the time of the Port Arthur massacre in 1996, the tragedy that led to the Howard government's historic gun reforms. Albanese made that point clear today, saying there's no reason why someone in that situation needed that many guns. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu didn't hold back either. In a Sky News interview, he said terrorists chose Bondi because there's no protection there, and told the Australian government to wake up. It's a sharp criticism, and it's landing at a moment when the Jewish community is grieving and asking why this happened. The government has declared Sunday, December 21st, a national day of reflection. Flags will fly at half-mast. Australians are being asked to light a candle at 6:47 p.m., exactly 1 week after the attack, and observe a minute of silence. At Bondi Beach this morning, hundreds of surfers and swimmers formed a memorial circle in the water. It was a stunning, heartbreaking image of a community trying to hold itself together. The gun buyback will be co-funded 50-50 by federal and state governments. It's designed to get surplus, newly banned, and illegal firearms off the streets. Albanese says legislation will be introduced to support the funding, but new laws won't be passed until 2026. He says the government wants to get the laws right and ensure broad political support, acknowledging constitutional and free speech issues that need careful handling. Investigations are ongoing. The 5 men being questioned haven't been charged yet, but police are treating this seriously. The government is working with the Jewish community to plan a national day of mourning in the new year, giving families time to lay their loved ones to rest. On Sunday, Australians will pause, light a candle, remember 15 lives lost, and try to figure out what comes next. This is a story that's still unfolding. We'll keep you updated as more information comes through.
You've been listening to Flashwire, powered by RedmanKari.com, where facts still matter and stories still mean something. If you believe in independent journalism with impact, hit subscribe and share this episode. Your support keeps truth alive.
Breaking. Verified. Australian. When the story breaks, we don't wait. We verify, explain, and bring you the facts straight from the source.
Now, Optus has clearly failed here. Optus have failed to put safety first.
Company Optus and its parent company Singtel offer commercial
Discussions based as friends and trusting. And part of our discussions, informally as well as
the whole
formally,
world
has
came
been
together, to be honest. So many countries that you wouldn't have even thought of it, they came together. The world has come together.
Now, we do need to draw a line in the sand when it comes to the protests that we continue to see in this country.
The Flashwire is your rapid response breaking news podcast, a stripped down, adrenaline-paced bulletin that drops minutes after major stories break. It's designed for listeners who want accuracy and speed, not noise. Think of it as the audio equivalent of a newsroom's red alert light turning on. Each episode runs under 5 minutes, short enough to drop between scrolls, but packed with verified updates, eyewitness info, expert sound bites, and a forward look at what happens next. No spin, no filler, just what you need to know and what comes next.